Hey Katie, it's Alicia. Okay, I really wanted to get you some value right away, and I looked at your account, and I'm still working on the format for my written report, and I might just end up making it video reports because it's just, and I've done a few like that with friends, and it's just so much easier to have the video here, with the analytics and be able to click around and literally show you how to see these things in your account so that then you can go and look at those numbers again later. And I'm going to send you this report. I've got a draft of the information, things I noticed, and I'm following along here. I just thought, even if it's just for you, I'm just going to go ahead and do a video. And summer, babysitting schedule is off, just got back from a trip, didn't want to wait till next week. My kids are downstairs, so they may interrupt me and maybe a couple of video files, and I haven't figured out how to edit them together to make one video file yet. So, but I'm really trying to follow the principle of just moving forward, keeping momentum, just keep going, and I figure if I can push through and do stuff I'm trying to do in the summer, then in the fall I'll really be rolling, right? So I hope that's inspiring to somebody if I survive. Anyways, I was super excited looking at your account, and so we're just going to get into this. Okay. Let me pull up your website. Oh, there it was. There we go. I read your about page and I love it. I love the whole family story. I think you should talk more about that on Facebook, but we'll get to that. Okay. First thing I like to look at under audience is mobile devices to see how many people are on their phone, how many people are on desktop. Most people are surprised at how much of their traffic is on their phone, and they're not paying enough attention and navigating their own site on their phone to see what the experience is. Oh wait, I wanted mobile overview. But 61% of your traffic is actually on desktop, and I think that's because they're people who are looking for places to stay and doing travel plans, and you are more likely to do that on your desktop. So I think in talking about how to work on your site, I think we can focus on what it looks like on a desktop, which is cool. So I emailed you, but I just have to say I can't believe I knew you were in Wisconsin. I was texting you, messaging you back while I was on my trip, but I was literally messaging you and I was right over here. We were at Two Harbors and Castle Danger, and we stayed somewhere up here. Anyways, so cool. That lake is beautiful. Okay, I'm going to mention some things as I think of them so I don't forget them. I wondered if any of your cabins had a view, or what the nicest view is that they could easily get within walking distance, and I think you should take pictures of those things. And some of your, I think one of them did, but for your pictures of the house, I think my day job's actually in real estate, so I'm very familiar with pictures of properties and stuff. And whenever there's waterfront properties or walking, if the house is at a community and the community has a dock or the community has amenities, or within walking in that community there's a pool or there's a view, even if it's not from the house, we always put pictures of that, whatever the most beautiful view is, whatever the amenities are, So if you guys have, I don't know if these cottages are close together because you own one big property, but some of these questions I would just ask you if we were doing a video, which we can do with Zoom, and probably have more dialogue where I ask you a question and then that helps us take the conversation to where it would be most helpful to you. But for some of these, yeah, this is one of them. You should add pictures of the water, I think. And I know we're focusing on getting traffic to your site, but I also want to talk about some things. I have a lot of experience with lead conversion with my day job, so I also want to talk about things that will help with lead conversion. And this, I would work on making them very consistent. This one didn't have the price at the top of it, but then the lake house did. So if you want them to check availability, book, yeah, so this one's like, I feel like this is like right here, amount that it costs, you know, peak season price, off season price, how many it sleeps, book now. I would have that kind of thing on each of them, and this one starts with better pictures. And it may be nicer, but you could do nice pictures for all of them, and the like the price and the stuff. Okay, back to analytics. Okay, now let's go to acquisition. This is the main place to look for where your traffic comes from. And if you just go to acquisition, all traffic channels, you can see broad categories, direct. Okay, so I need to write a separate post and I'll send you a link. But up here in your property, you've got one view that's all website data. A good practice, best practice, a good thing to do is to create another view and to, because you don't want to edit your initial view, but go into admin and create another view and exclude your IP address so that, and your parents too, like they can Google, you can both just go to google.com and be like, what is my IP address? And it will tell you, and then I can email you instructions on how to, or I'll put it in a report, how to just, I don't want to do it now, but you go over here to, down here to admin, down here to admin, and then you just go over to the view, and then it only tracks information going forward. And my point of this is just know that until you add that filter to exclude your internal traffic, this direct is going to be inflated because that's going to include any times that you or your parents or your husband are just going to MissionSpringsResortcom, right? So like if you're just going to your homepage, and that's how you go to your homepage to look at the site, this, just know that this number will be inflated, so it might not be that half your traffic is direct if some of that's you. And as long as you know that, you can work toward fixing it, work toward changing that, but then if you add the filter, you just know that information going forward. So anyways, so what we're going to look at is the relationship between the others, and so of the others, organic search is the most, and then referral, and then social. I think we could really work on getting social to be more. There's so much we could do. I would be up for helping you for a couple months if we can find a time to a regular time to chat and kind of help you get through some of these. Okay, so I clicked on organic search. It often does not show keywords. Oh, I forgot to, let me do this, because I think you did have some more keywords in here when I did it for January through. Alright, so you can see here, you are coming up for some things like Ashland, Wisconsin lodging. That was like one. But you see how mostly they're not showing you what keywords you come up for, which they just mostly, like I've read about it, and they just don't. I don't know why. But to give you an idea, you can put in secondary dimension destination page, and then that will show you for your organic traffic the houses that you're coming up for the highest. And so you can see that this title of this page that's available, Cottages, Lake House, Mission Springs Resort, Ashland, Wisconsin, you should create more pages with names like that, and then with the keyword that you mentioned that you don't come up for places to stay in Ashland, Wisconsin. You should write a blog post or even potentially a permanent page that's more like an article. Either way, the difference there doesn't really matter a lot. You should add content to your site, like write a piece that's like the best place to stay in Ashland, Wisconsin, or a hidden gem to stay, I don't know, a title like that, and then write a piece and just specifically write heading, title, heading, and then content with the words that you want to come up for. And so yeah, and we can get into that. And that's where I wanted to know how much time you have to write content. I looked at your Facebook page, and this is good. I don't know if you've read Gary Vee's jab, 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 right hook. It's a really good book. He summarizes some stuff really well. And I don't know how much of his stuff you've watched. I watch him, but then I watch a lot of other specific marketing things. Anyways, a couple of strategies that I think would really help you is, well, I'm going to talk to you about a couple different ideas, and then you can see which one resonates with you. But you should become, I've got it in my list. Where am I? I'm just bouncing around, but that's okay. I want to get this to you. Better done than perfect, right? Just ship it. That's what we're doing. Because this is like side to my side job. Anyway. Okay. Be advocates of visiting the North and staying in private cabins on trips. So just like Airbnb, if they're doing brand, like what's their brand, what do they promote, they have a vested interest in encouraging people to feel good about staying in individuals' houses instead of hotels, right? And then you have the same vested interest. And then for you, where your location is, like you should become an advocate of Wisconsin. So you should have kind of like circles, concentric circles of your content. And the most targeted, and like Gary Vee would call it a right hook, is like, hey, come stay in this lake house that we have in Ashland, Wisconsin, right? Or this view, or one of these that you had, it was something where it was like, with this cool spot is waterfall or something. This cool spot is within walking distance of one of our... Anyway, yeah, this is good. Like, beautiful area to visit. One was, this beautiful spot is within walking... Okay, here we go. Amazing day trip from our little resort. Okay, so those are good. Keep doing that, but then you also want to do... We can talk about your content schedule and how often you can do content, but you also want to do stuff about how Wisconsin is amazing. I was going to ask you, I saw in the description you live in Ohio and the parents are in Wisconsin, but you guys are starting to help them. How well do you know Wisconsin? Like, did your husband, I don't remember who grew up there. One of you grew up there, I assume. Whoever grew up there, if they can like take some time to write some content or help the other person, you know, just think about just that research about Wisconsin. And then, yeah, I really like all the posts you're doing on Facebook, but I think you should make it more personalized. Then, like, I saw these, and then I went and read your about page, and then I felt much more like, oh yeah, like family business, people have been staying at these cabins for decades, you know. So I think some of that was just like Gary Vee says, document and like share your truth. Like, that's your truth. It's the family business. I would do some of those posts too. And you've got like the picnic with the kids, which is perfect. But also some of that history I would have put in here. And then stuff about why visit Wisconsin. And then I didn't know if you have a budget for ads. You said something about switching, until you guys took it over, it had only been print advertising, so that made me think you might be interested in digital advertising. I think you should really look into and at least try Facebook ads. And one of the cool things with Facebook ads is that you can target geographically, and so you could target, I saw you had a list of like how many miles you are from different cities. You could target people on Facebook who are interested in travel or vacation, or are the right age of like the demographic of people, like with or without kids or whatever, whoever you think would be staying there. And then you can target people who just live within 2 hours drive. I was telling you, I was with my brother and sister-in-law last week who live in Minneapolis, and they just got on, you know, Airbnb, and he found one, and it was, I guess, a 2-hour drive. I think an hour and a half. We went an hour and a half and we started sightseeing, but it was like hour and a half to 2 hour drive. And it was very doable for, like, we did it for a day trip 2 years ago, and then we did it for a 1-night stay, and then we're like, oh, we should do that for 7 days. So I think you should make, as far as ideas for your blog, I think I saw you were blogging like maybe once a month, but content marketing could be hugely successful for you, and a combination of that and Facebook or Instagram ads, depending on whether you have more time or money, right? So if you've got more money, not as much time because you've got a job, but you've got budget for advertising, then you could do more, Facebook ads on some of these different topics, or content marketing, more blog posts. But so another topic would be how to plan for a trip, whatever your demographic is. If it is little kids, like how to go to an amazing place with a small family, tips for doing that. Oh, hey, by the way, our cabins are super conducive to that. Come check us out. And then also I'm going to talk about the email list. Okay, I'm going to get off too much. Let's go back to analytics. I'm going to show you how to do a few more things. Okay, so if I go back up here and just click on all, it'll take me out of the organic and back to just the channels. And then I can click on referral traffic, and that showed me that you are on some of these other sites that you kind of mentioned. So Think Reservations sends you a lot, Resorts and Lodges, some of these. Okay, so one of your goals is to get more traffic directly to your site and not have to pay those other third parties for sending you the business. And two biggest strategies for that are going to be the content marketing and the paid ads. Okay, let's go. Oh yeah, I'm going to click on social. Social, I think, yeah, you're getting traffic from Facebook. Instagram, I wonder, so like, you could tell me how often do you post on Facebook and how often do you post on Instagram. And if it's similar, then you would be like, oh, Facebook is so much more effective, which it could be. Or if you're posting more on Facebook, then we don't know how effective Instagram is, right? Because of the nature with Facebook, it's so much easier it's easy to share, which is good for your business and what you're doing. You could craft some posts that are especially made for sharing and for people to share with people that they think that they know live in that area or that might want to go, or like, hey, here's an idea for our next trip. You can write stuff to help people think about sharing it. People share things that help them look like the kind of person that they want to be, or feel like the kind of person that they want to be, and like tell friends about things that they want them to know they're thinking about. I was thinking about you. I remember that you said you wanted to visit a Great Lake, whatever. I think Great Lakes, Lake Superior, I'm gonna have to go back through here and find the different content ideas, as I know I can be a verbal processor. So I'm just thinking out some of these things. But another topic would be this idea of it being really cool to visit the Great Lakes. Oh, and while you're going to visit, come visit Lake Superior because it's like the least crowded, most wild, I think, because the ones I don't actually know a lot about that, but the ones toward the east are like closer to population centers and warmer potentially. So, but that whole idea of like always wanted to visit the Great Lakes, check out Lake Superior, here's a great place to stay, right? So just all these different kinds of topics, like you want to have a halo of topics where you're just informing people and educating people. That's the jab, like just providing value, just telling them about travel, how to travel with kids, how to get a cabin, all those things. And then why Wisconsin, why Lake Superior, why a cabin. Oh, hey, now that I've gotten you logically to that place, every like 4 or 5 posts on Facebook or Instagram, then it's like, hey, come stay here. And you can directly just be like, hey, book this lake house next month. It's going to be a beautiful time of the year, or whatever. Or hey, consider booking this cabin next month. Off season starts, discount rates half off next month, or whatever the numbers are. But anyways, so Instagram is a lot harder to get people to click over to get the traffic to your site unless you do stories or you do ads. And I'm honestly still learning about stories, but if we talk in like a month, I will know more about them because I am working on that. But those are best, ideally for video, stories are, and so I don't know how you feel about doing video versus just wanting to do pictures. I think Instagram ads might be something that you want to try, either Instagram ads or Facebook ads. Or for my day job, I have a ton of like serious experience with Google AdWords. So I think we should actually, all right, Katie. So Katie, to be honest, I assume that I'm going to like you because you just seem cool already. So I'm probably going to be interested in offering you like a special next level for free of consulting for the experience for me, because I'm still new at like the consulting thing. And of all the people that have replied to my offer, like some have been slow to get me all the information I need to help them, and then some haven't even had analytics like tracking code enabled on their site, so they don't even have traffic for me to look at. And so I'm like, can help them some, but you might be the most strategic where like I can help you the most and we can walk this out. So I'm really excited to talk to you. Let's try to talk like next week. But I'm so impressed my children have not interrupted me yet. Let me see what other few things that I want to say, and then I'm going to make this private on YouTube, send you a link, let you watch it, schedule a talk next week. I want to help you think about all the different things that could be strategic for you, and then you let me know like which things you think fit, what's realistic for you guys, and then we could really target into like, with the resources that you've got, the most strategic activities to get the results. Because stuff you could do on Instagram, Facebook, Google AdWords, blog posting, those are all ideas, but for me, I'm a mom and I know a bunch of moms, and my passion is helping moms specifically because I love the idea of if I could work 15 hours a day like Gary Vee, I would for a while, but I can't. I've got 4 children and a side job, a day job, it's a part-time day job to pay for my student loans. And so, I don't have 15 hours a day. I'm doing really well to get 4. I'm working really hard to have 4 hours a day. But I'm passionate about it, and so I'm fine with filling up every bit of time that I can control with this. So I know you, you have kids, and these are, your parents, and it's, another business. I don't know if you also work. But just this idea of, you listen to somebody... I love listening to Gary Vee because he's so inspiring, but then he's Instagram or Facebook, just do everything. And I'm maybe someday, as soon as I can, and I will do a little bit more than I think I can because he's inspiring me, but I assume that you can't start with everything. And so what I want to help people like you do is figure out which are the most strategic activities. So that's what we're going to dial in toward. Okay, with behavior, site content, all pages. Okay, so your reservations, and then availability, and then this page, which I pulled up. You can just copy and paste here. You see that? Yeah. You can actually see this. Anyways, I'm navigating to that page because that page gets a lot of traffic. I think. Okay. So here we go. This is good. This page, let me pull this down so you can see where I am. Yeah, okay. This page, you've got this really great name here with all these keywords here, right? And then you've got your list of properties. This is a good page. This is getting... That's the one that was getting some organic traffic, and it's getting the most traffic by a bit. It and the lake house are getting the most traffic after the reservations and availability pages, which those pages make sense. Those should get a lot of traffic because you're funneling traffic to them. You said not a large percentage of people actually book, and so that's where I want to talk about your email list. And okay, you should do a freebie. You should create some kind of useful PDF that's 10 steps to prepare or plan a trip up north or something. I think you need something to convert. Okay, if people are interested and curious and they come to your site, but they're interested and they're inspired, they're oh, I like this idea, but they are not yet ready to literally spend money and book right now, you're losing them because you don't have anything in between to capture them and keep them informed until they've warmed up to the idea, or they've saved the money, or it's the right time of year, or they're ready to actually book and spend the money on something, right? I would be your perfect audience because I know somebody, I either live up there, which I don't, or I know somebody that I go visit that does live up there. And so then we like branching up out from their house to go somewhere so that they feel like they're on vacation too, right? So if I like saw a beautiful picture on your Instagram or something and went and visited your profile and found your site, or on Facebook somebody shared like, oh, don't you have relatives in Minnesota? This is a cool place to live. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to do another. We will finish this in another video. Maybe I can just mute this. No, I don't know. Alright, let's see if I can just keep going. They're so adorable. So usually they're like, Mom, we need you because somebody's poopy or somebody's fighting. He just wanted me to know that the 3-year-old is playing Mario Kart himself on his own file, which is huge. That's good. Because they can play together. Because he wants to be a big kid. Anyways, okay. So if I was your target audience and I found you on social somehow and found your site and was interested and wanted to like remember it, if I bookmark it, like that's a bad idea because I have a million bookmarks and I need to organize them. And so, yeah. But if you had a freebie that was like looking to plan a trip this summer, or like some call to action on like all your pages and in the sidebar. I don't know if you know, like that's how you build an email list, right? Is you have a freebie. You should make some kind of family friendly or like whatever your target demographic is, older couples, younger families, whoever you think is going to travel to your cabin and have a good time there and get the most out. Like whoever your ideal client is, you should create. I'm thinking the easiest thing for you to do is create a PDF, and it doesn't have to be super pretty. It can and you can do it in Google Drive in a doc file for free. If you have Gmail, you have Google Docs, and you can just create it, and you can just do a nice title, pick a list of like 10 steps to do whatever it is, put a couple of pictures, and I'm thinking how to plan your trip, something like that, because it's useful to them, or yeah, that seems like the main thing. But we could think of different things. And then that would be something where it would be like thinking about visiting, at some point, or whatever the good wording is, download, get the free planning guide and subscribe to our newsletter. And then either weekly or every other week or monthly, just depending on what you're able to do, you would start sending out a newsletter to keep those people interested and to let them know what's going on. And then I think that's the most strategic thing that you could do, really, is to start doing a newsletter, get back, start doing that. I can help you brainstorm if you want. I don't know how much you're like, oh yeah, I know how to do that, or if you're like, what? But, or how many you get now. I get newsletters from different people, my email, and I get some just to like see what they're doing and see which ones I like seeing and reading, and that helps me to write my own because I see in my inbox what's effective to me, what gets me to read it, what keeps me subscribed. So, but I think that's the ticket, and then that's where you can start with your past clients, and then current clients, everybody that stays this summer, I would encourage you to have something in some paperwork where it's like the box is like checked by default or whatever, they can uncheck it or they can unsubscribe, but like everybody, start with your old email list, everybody that's getting added, and then also have something on your website, and then send out that regular newsletter about, and that newsletter will be a combination of fun information about the cabins and about Wisconsin, and then also time-sensitive information about like what the rates are going to be next month, or if there are any fun activities in Ashland that they'd want to time their stay with, stuff like that, right? I'm almost done.
I got been control and been peed.
Okay, I'm coming.
On the floor.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Okay.
Wait,
Ben, go to the bathroom. Okay, I'm coming.
and he is.
Okay, so now he had an accident. He peed in his pants, so I gotta go take care of that. But I think this is enough. This gives you hopefully some thoughts. And looking at my notes here, I think I've hit everything. Yeah, so email list, let's talk about that more. This gives you some things to think about. I can't wait to chat and help you with this. I'm so excited. Let's find a time next Tuesday or Thursday if that works for you. Let's compare schedules, and I will hopefully talk to you next week. Bye.